Support WrestleTalk!
Thank you for your awesome support on Patreon, the Mayor of Painesville, Dan!
WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling are the two biggest wrestling companies in the world, and they both have their own training and development systems. While WWE has struggled to create new stars over the years, New Japan has managed to produce a steady stream of talented wrestlers to fill their roster. Today we will dive into the lesson that NXT must learn from the success of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Young Lion system, while analyzing what makes them different. Howdy there, WrestleTalk friends and fans. I'd like to thank everyone for the positivity and the feedback to my first video. However, because so many of you fine folks mention that I sound like the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, the powers that be here at WrestleTalk have informed me that I will now be known as the Brain, Brian Joyce. So thank you all very much for that. Well, at least it's better than the Librarian. Anywho, before we begin, make sure to give this video a big ol' thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and answer our question in the comments below. This video's question happens to be, who has been the very best NXT call-up? WWE's current developmental program is the combination of the WWE Performance Center and the NXT brand. Wrestlers and hopefuls report to the Performance Center upon being signed to a WWE contract to train or get acclimated to the WWE ring and style. While an unprecedented number of top-level wrestlers have come through the NXT system since 2012, the vast majority have been major stars of the independent and international scenes, who were already great before reporting to the Performance Center. There have been exceptions such as Roman Reigns, Rusev, Chad Gable, and Sasha Banks, but many of the trainees who started from scratch with NXT have been unable to find sustained success. New Japan, however, has their own way of training. There are two New Japan dojos located in Tokyo and Los Angeles, respectively. An entry exam is required of the trainees who seek acceptance into the dojo, while established stars need not go through the training as it focuses more on technique and ability. The vast majority of New Japan stars were trained by the New Japan Dojo, with alumni ranging from Keiji Muto and Masahiro Chono to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Captain New Japan. Actually, forget I mentioned that last one. The first difference between the Performance Center and the New Japan Dojos is the way that the wrestling hopefuls are trained. In NXT, there is great emphasis put on developing promo ability and character work. This has been illustrated by shows like Breaking Ground, which has shown people like Aaliyah focusing mainly on her character as opposed to her technique. Aaliyah is still considered a below-average in-ring performer, which would lead one to believe that technique is considered secondary to character work at the Performance Center. This is further exemplified by the series of performers who rarely seem to improve in the ring, yet appear with updated characters like Kona Reeves and Vanessa Bourne. WWE is far more character-driven than New Japan without a doubt, but it remains clear that the majority of the wrestlers that have achieved great success in recent years have been those with exceptional in-ring ability. Given that match quality means more to the interest of the average fan than ever before, it may be a good idea to focus more on what wrestlers do in the ring than on the stage. On the flip side, the New Japan dojos are focused entirely on conditioning and technique. In New Japan, the characters of the wrestlers are secondary and are developed later as a result. The emphasis placed on technique is the main reason why New Japan has developed a roster comprised of many of the best wrestlers in the world and Bad Luck Fale. Facing a strict, rigid training regimen, if the young lion hopefuls do not excel, they will not make it through the system. The trainees spend their time in the dojo cooking and cleaning for the other wrestlers, in addition to their own exercise and training. The hierarchy in the dojo is based on respect for the established wrestlers and is very much in line with Japanese tradition. New Japan has minimal focus on playing to the camera, as it is the job of the production team to get the best shot, rather than it being the job of the wrestlers to work according to the position of the hard camera. This philosophy removes any need to take the focus away from developing skill in the dojos. By the time the trainees have their first match, they are already ready to take the next step by performing in front of people. The far bigger difference between NXT and the New Japan Young Lion system is the presentation of their inexperienced wrestlers. Because NXT is now considered the third brand of WWE programming, up-and-coming wrestlers are presented as quote-unquote stars. The mentality of some fans has been that if they are on NXT, they should be ready to be on NXT. Wrestlers who debut on NXT out of the Performance Center are presented as finished products as opposed to people who are learning in many cases. This causes fans to be less forgiving of them making mistakes, which is to be expected considering their lack of experience. Many of these wrestlers are performing on television for the first time out of the Performance Center, and as rookies, they should be given a better chance for success. Meanwhile, New Japan's young lions are presented as what they are: lions. Wait, nope, that's not right. Rookies. They're presented as rookies who are learning. When ready, the young lions are put in undercard matches with established stars like Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi so they can gain experience and learn to perform in front of an audience. These wrestlers are stripped down to the bare minimum. Short hair, black boots, black trunks, and zero discernible characteristics are the starting point for every young lion. The emphasis is put on learning and practicing. Because the young lions are presented honestly as good-natured rookies, the Japanese fans are more forgiving of their mistakes. As they continue to develop, they may add aspects to their characters while maintaining the focus on their in-ring work. By the time they depart New Japan, the young lions are usually world-class wrestlers. If established stars made the mistakes that young lions make, it would garner a far different reaction from the audience, but being rookies allows them to be clumsier and less refined. Needless to say, if Will Ospreay or Tetsuya Naito made the mistakes that Yota Tsuji or Yuya Uemura make, the fans would react about as harshly as my mom when I came home with an armful of tattoos. Side note, if you know the origins of all of these tattoos, you shall receive 10 brain points and a cookie for good measure. First impressions are very important in pro wrestling. If a performer is presented to an audience half-baked, it is very difficult to shake that perception. Some NXT stars are hurt by their presentation, as they can end up tainted if they are not immediately successful. The young lions do not have this problem, as they do not have the same level of expectations thrust upon them. If WWE was able to change the narrative surrounding the developing talent and recondition their fans to accept rookie performers as rookies, they might be able to allow their talent to perform in a more welcoming environment while they learn. The biggest difference between the two systems, and the key lesson that WWE must take from New Japan, is New Japan sending their young lions on excursions. When young lions are deemed ready, they may be sent to a partner promotion to develop their characters and promo ability and learn different styles outside of Japan. Jay White was sent to Rev Pro, Hiromu Takahashi went to CMLL, Kazuchika Okada was tortured in TNA. Everybody wins. The excursion allows the young lions to broaden their palette and learn styles in each promotion they visit, much like wrestlers in the 70s learned from different territories they worked in. Takahashi, for example, worked in numerous promotions while on excursion, adding experience from Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla to his resume. Every promotion in the world works a unique style, and sending young lions to learn from many of them make the talent far more versatile. An important factor to consider, however, is that they do all of this away from the eyes of New Japan fans. Spending an extended amount of time away from Japan gives the young lions a chance to distance themselves from their image as ineffectual rookies. When they return to New Japan, they are fully formed characters, having used all of their experience to mold them into a new wrestler. This is when young lions will re-debut with a new nickname, flashy gear, signature moves, and a fetish for knives in some cases. As their re-debut is a very important moment in New Japan, anticipation can be built from the fans and is usually paid off with a big match, such as Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiromu Takahashi versus Kushida, or Sho and Yo versus Ricochet and Ryusuke Taguchi. This process not only gives the talent the tools to grow and succeed, but it also puts them in a position to re-emerge as a star. WWE must learn that when training their homegrown talents, just having one style in their repertoire limits them as performers. Wrestlers must be allowed to grow and learn different styles if they are going to be able to evolve. Speaking of evolve, WWE has had a working relationship with the promotion since 2015, with top NXT talent occasionally working on Evolve shows. WWE has shown more of a willingness to work with other promotions than in the mid-2000s, and if WWE allowed their hopefuls to work for promotions like Evolve, it would allow them to become more well-rounded performers. Sending recruits to other promotions to develop their characters and learn new styles would also allow them to debut on NXT as more of a finished product, having avoided going through the growing pains in front of the NXT audience. Being able to make a strong first impression to the NXT crowd would help many of the greener talents avoid making their debuts before they are at their best. This has been seen over the years with the lackluster debuts of performers like Dana Brooke, Baron Corbin, and Adam Cole. Hang on. Wait a minute. Who wrote this script? What do you mean I wrote this script? No, Mojo Rawley. Mojo Rawley, that's more like it. Please do not hurt me. I love the Adam Cole. Yes, shock the system and all that. What it boils down to is WWE has trained many of their recruits to work the WWE style. And while that style has its merits, if stars are going to be successful, it is advantageous to train in a mix of styles. Giving their trainees the opportunity to test the waters in Mexico, Japan, or the United Kingdom would give them the chance to simply become better. New Japan Pro Wrestling is the best in-ring product on the planet, and even they know that forcing their talents to wrestle only one style, even if it is the best style, would be limiting them. WWE needs to take the lesson from New Japan and allow their future superstars to continue to learn and realize that their style is not the be-all and end-all. Imagine if the wrestlers coming out of the Performance Center all had the experience working different styles that Kushida, Undisputed Era, and Johnny Gargano had. Now that is a WWE I can dream about. Thank you all for watching, and if you care to hear more of my voice, you can click the link to the right to watch the complete history of the Hell in a Cell match and how WWE has ruined it. A big thank you as always to our Patreon supporters whose names are scrolling as I speak. I've been the Brain, Brian Joyce, reminding you all to make smart choices.